Hello everybody, welcome back once again to another video session for MGM Higher Secondary School, Bokaro. This is the first video for lesson number 2, class 8 English Reader. In the previous video we discussed a poem. In this video we shall discuss a short story. This short story is titled Golden Moments. Let us read the story and understand what it is about. But before that, let us talk something about the author. So the author of this story, Golden Moments, is J. Dubashi. He was born in the year 1924. He is a prolific Indian writer. He writes on a variety of topics. He is an Indian economist and politician. He was advisor to Union Minister of Industry in 1977 and is a member of the National Executive of Bharatiya Janata Party. Earlier, he was supposed to be a Nehruist, people who follow the Nehru politics. Let us go through the summary of the short story. Now, this story is titled Golden Moments and it is a short story by J. Dubashi. In this story, the author narrates an incident from his college days when he received a gold medal in matriculation. He recounts the ordeal he went through to make it to his convocation. He tells the readers that the economy is going through a tough time. He wishes that he could get some cash in exchange of the gold medal. But ironically, he does not possess the gold medal anymore. In fact, he has not seen the medal since he received it. So the whole story revolves around a small narration by the author in which he is telling us how he received a gold medal and how he wants to use it. But the irony is that he has not seen it from a long time. Let us now read the story to find out why has he not seen the medal since he received it. So paragraph 1, lesson 2, Golden Moments. Inflation isn't all that bad if you have a little gold to fall back on. It so happens that I had some gold, about 100 grams of it, which at the current price would be a neat sum. When it came into my possession, it was worth 200, but I have no idea where it is now, and it's a sad story. Now in this paragraph, the word inflation means rise in price. So in the economy, when the prices of goods and services rise, it is called inflation. So obviously when the prices rise, people need more money. Now he is telling us, the author is telling us that he has about 100 grams of gold and the price today of that gold would be good. Need some means a huge amount, a big amount. But he also tells us that when he received the gold medal, he must have received it a long time ago, because in the story he mentions that at that time the worth of 100 grams of gold was rupees 200. But he is going to tell us the sad story of how that gold medal is no longer with him. In the second paragraph, he says, just around the last World War, I stood first in matriculation in Bombay, now Mumbai, and was awarded a gold medal. But I didn't actually see it till a year later. For one of the conditions was that I had to continue my studies for at least a year in college. So I patiently waited for the medal for a whole year through 2 monsoons and a summer until I received a letter from the university asking me to attend a convocation ceremony and receive the gold medal from the hands of the governor himself. Easier said than done, I said to myself as I wasn't really ready for the ceremony. I have to be presentable, I said to myself, but my usual dress was a white lungi and shirt, the kind of dress worn by gardeners and street sweepers in Bombay. So when we read the story, children, we understand that it is a narration of an incident that took place quite a long time ago. It is very well mentioned in the second paragraph itself that this story is about the time when the last World War happened. So the last World War was the Second World War. And at that time, the Britishers were ruling in India. And the word Bombay is the old name for the new Mumbai now. So he is telling that in matriculation, that is in class 10, he received a gold medal, but the college in which he was studying has put a condition that if you have won the gold medal, you cannot receive it immediately. You have to continue studying in that college for another year. Only then you can get your gold medal. So the author tells us that he patiently waited for another year. Means this happened during monsoon and he waited for another monsoon and one more summer, one whole year, and then he received the gold. He was supposed to receive the gold medal in a convocation ceremony. What is a convocation ceremony? A ceremony in which whatever exam you have cleared, whatever degree you have cleared, that degree is awarded to you in front of lots of people of high rankings. So now when he received the letter from the university after 1 year of his matriculation, he said that it might sound easy to you that I was supposed to go to a convocation ceremony and receive the gold medal, but it wasn't as easy as it sounded because I wanted to look good. Presentable means I wanted to look good because, as I just now said, in a convocation ceremony, there are lots of people of high ranks that will be there, and the governor himself will be handing the gold medal. So, as you all know, in British India, the governor was a person who was a representative of the Queen of England. So, he was naturally quite nervous that he has to look presentable for the ceremony. And sadly, this author, the person who's narrating the story, had only the usual common Indian dress, which was a white lungi and a shirt. We have seen it is a local dress of the Maharashtrians. They wear a white lungi and a shirt. And according to the author, because he is so nervous, he says that this was the local dress of the people of Bombay, which is generally seen being worn by the gardeners and the street sweepers, people who clean the streets. So he is worried. He wants something presentable to wear to the convocation. In paragraph 3, he says, my friend said I should go for a proper suit, double-breasted jacket and all, for the medal would be pinned to my jacket by the governor, a burly Englishman called Lord Brabham, and how would I look if I appeared before him in a gardener's uniform? Now, his friend tells him that when you're going to the convocation, make sure you wear a proper suit. What is a suit? A dress of an Englishman, okay? And now he wants a style. There are various styles of suits. So he wanted a double-breasted jacket because he knew the governor would pin the medal to his jacket. You know, during the investiture ceremony and all, you must have seen the office bearers. There's a whole ceremony where the badges are pinned on the shirts of the office bearers. In the same way, he is nervous that the governor is going to pin the gold medal on his jacket. And this governor was an Englishman, a person of England is called Englishman, and his name was Lord Brabourne. Also, he was very burly. This is just an adjective. Burly means a person who is strong and heavily built. And he was thinking, how would I look to in front of this Englishman if I just wore a gardener's uniform, and he is such a big lord wearing his full uniform and everything. How would I appear if I didn't wear a good dress? I had a tailor friend and he offered to stitch a natty suit for me provided I supplied the cloth. Natty means a good, presentable. He says that my friend was a tailor and if I gave him a cloth piece, he would stitch a nice suit for me. My friends were now in full cry and I chose a palm beach suit. Full cry means completely busy, all in action. And he chose a style of suit that was called palm beach suit. And these kind of suits were worn by Hollywood film stars and others. Though it made a big hole in my pocket. What does it mean? Big hole in my pocket? It means the suit was very expensive. It cost him a lot of money. Thus attired. Attired means after wearing. I sallied forth to receive the great medal. Sallied means to walk, means rush, means he is now ready. Now he is rushing to get his gold medal. Here is a picture where his tailor friend is stitching him a good suit, Palm Beach style. Now, unfortunately, on the day of the convocation, the students of Bombay, a fractious lot, had decided to boycott the ceremony and were protesting outside the hall, complete with huge placards and black flags. Some even carried dead crows in their bags. So, in this paragraph, the author tells us that the day of the convocation, when he was all well dressed up and going to his university, his college, there was a group of students, fractious means troublesome, people who are of divided opinion and they're protesting about something. So they were actually boycotting the ceremony and they were protesting outside the hall. You know, the British India was a time of complete unrest. Not everybody agreed to the British sense of education and everything. So some people were protesting the ceremony, they were boycotting it, they were using placards, holding banners, and using black flags. Black flags is a mark of protest. Some of them were even carrying dead crows. Let us see why they were carrying dead crows after all. I wondered why. One of the dead crows hit the Union Jack and brought the procession to a halt. Now, Union Jack is the British flag. So they were throwing dead crows and protesting. And one of the dead crows, it hit the Union Jack, the British flag, and brought the procession to a halt. Procession means the entire function that was going on. It was a bad omen. Omen means sign, something that is not good. So it was a bad omen that a good function is going on and dead crows are hitting the Union Jack. It was my first convocation and I didn't want it to be my last. I persevered and appeared in the hall, Palm Beach suit and all, ready for anything. Now this narrator is determined to reach his convocation, and although he faced all these procession outside, the protest outside, he somehow reached. He persevered. Persevered means he continued to put effort despite all the difficulties that he faced. So he wore his suit and he faced the protest. Even though the procession was brought to a halt little bit, he was ready to face anything because he was excited to be convocated. He did not want this convocation to be his last convocation, so he marched forward to the place of the function. So here is a picture of the hall where the convocation was taking. Just an idea. Some high ranking officers are sitting, some well dressed women are sitting. There were about 5 or 6 medalists, and we were asked to sit on the dais behind the governor in a splendid gown and his entourage. The hall was packed with the high and mighty of Bombay, the inevitable Parsi ladies in glittering saris, along with their escorts, whom one normally saw only in the newspapers. There were also the usual army officers with more medals on their tunics than were being given away during the ceremony, and of course the strong contingent of teachers from local colleges strategically seated near the entrances. The author tells us that there were 6 medalists. Medalists are the people who were receiving the medals during this convocation ceremony, and they were supposed to sit on the dais. Dais is a platform, and this dais was behind the governor in who was wearing a splendid gown. Splendid gown means a beautiful gown. And this gown is not just any designer gown here. We are talking about a convocation gown. When if you come across the photographs of convocation ceremonies, you will see that the person, the high ranking officials on the stage wear a convocation gown, and his entourage. Entourage is a noun for the people who travel with an important personality. You must have seen in the newspapers and in the news, a high ranking official is never traveling alone. He always has a flank of bodyguards around him and important people that surround him. That is the entourage. So this hall was packed with the high and mighty of Bombay. High and mighty means the important people of the city of Bombay were all present there. The inevitable Parsi ladies in glittering saris, expensive saris. And inevitable means something that cannot be avoided, along with their escorts. Escorts mean people who accompany others. These people, the escorts, were quite important people because you would see them only in the newspapers. Now, there were also the army officers, and these army officers were wearing a lot of medals on their tunics. Tunics at the top they are wearing. And we also come to know that there was a contingent of teachers. Contingent means a group of. And these teachers were from the local colleges, and they all were given seats according to their, according to their merit, according to their importance, all had their seats allotted. The governor, as I have said, was Lord Brabourne, after whom the famous cricket stadium of Bombay is named. He was about twice my height and 3 times my weight, and had also chosen to wear a Palm Beach two-piece suit. So here is a piece of historical fact for us. The governor, Lord Brabourne, was an important Englishman, and after him the famous cricket stadium in Bombay has been named. And we have the physical description of the Lord. He was twice my height, means 2 times the height of the narrator, and 3 times the weight. And he had also chosen to wear a Palm Beach two-piece suit. So he is also wearing the same kind of suit, that the narrator is wearing. At last the governor pinned the medal to my lapel, but the effort seemed to have exhausted him. It was my tailor's fault. He had forgotten to make a buttonhole, and the pin would not pierce the cloth. I was only 16 at the time, and at that moment worried about how to go home in the pouring rain. I didn't want to risk spoiling my very precious suit. So after all this ordeal, for example, the first one is he had to get his suit stitched. Then second one, he had to face an entire protesting procession. Then when he came to the hall, and when the governor was trying to pin the medal to my lapel is that portion of the uh, jacket where the folds are there. So when the governor was trying to pin the medal, the governor got exhausted. Why? Because there was no buttonhole in that lapel, and the cloth was so thick that you could not pierce the pin of the medal and pin it properly. However, this author is telling us his age. He is 16 years old at that time, and he did not worry about why it is not getting pinned or what he has to do. All that he was worrying about is how he would go home. because apparently it had started to rain, and because it had cost him quite a lot of money in getting the suit stitched, he did not want to spoil it in the rain. So he was worried about how to reach home safely without spoiling his precious suit. The medal weighed 100 grams, and according to my grandmother, who possessed more gold than the Reserve Bank of India, or so I thought, was worth at least 200 rupees, a lot of money in those days. So the author tells us that when he got home, he realized that the gold weighed about 100 grams. And the author also has a grandmother who told him that this was worth rupees 200, which in those times, during the time of Second World War, rupees 200 was quite a lot of sum. And according to the author, he believes that his grandmother had more gold than the Reserve Bank of India. My first impulse was to sell it and pocket the money, but grandmother said it would be blasphemy to let it go, and would I please hand it over to her for safekeeping? Now, when this boy, 16 years of age, received his gold medal after 1 year of waiting and going through all the ordeal, the first impulse means the first thought that came to his mind was he should sell the 100 grams of gold and get the money. Pocket the money means keep the money for himself. But his grandmother said that would be blasphemy. Blasphemy means something very, very wrong. It is almost like showing disrespect to God, that level of wrong. So she says that no, no, this is a medal that you have received for your merits. So you don't have to sell it. In fact, she said that he should give the gold medal to her for safekeeping. Safekeeping means to keep it safe in case it gets lost, from getting it lost or something else. The grandmother wanted to keep the gold medal for safekeeping. In the next paragraph and the last paragraph, we understand that the author continues to say, and I have never seen it since. God alone knows how anxiously I have been searching for it all these years, if only to help me make a dent in my revenue deficit. So, the author, when we read through the whole story, uses humor. In bits and pieces, you will see that even though he is dealing with his troubles, even though he's explaining a troubled times in the history of India, economic depression and inflation and protestings and boycotts, he maintains a humorous quality about his story. And he says that once his grandmother took the gold medal from him for safekeeping, that was the last time he saw his gold medal. Now he doesn't know where it is. He keeps searching for it. Perhaps his grandmother is no more. That is why he has to search for the gold medal. And he wants to actually use that gold medal to sell it. His first impulse is yet with him. He wants to sell it, get some money, and pay his taxes. And he cut so that he wants to lower the burden of his taxes on himself. And sadly, that was the last that he had seen his gold medal. That is when his grandmother asked for safekeeping. He has never seen it since, and even though he searches for it, he hasn't found it. That is the story. That is the summary of the story, the explanation. We have gone through it line wise. I have read the story for you. I hope you read it on your own once again. The pictures from the book are here on your screen. Let us come to the textual exercises. I hope you enjoyed reading the story and listening to it. Now, the textual exercises, you are going to do these in the book itself. I have provided the picture for you so that I can discuss it with you. There are two columns in the first question. There's column A and column B. Column A has a word and column B has the meaning of that word. You have to match the word with the correct meaning. Presentable. I've already made you understand these things. Natty. Contingent. Strategically. Fill in the blanks with the words or phrases from the text. Yes, if you were listening properly, if you were reading properly, this is the test for you. The author lived in dash. Where was he living? At the time of his matriculation, he was dash years old. It's mentioned in the story. He was awarded a gold medal for dash. What did he win a gold medal in? He received the medal after. Perhaps you have to look into the story after how many years, how many months did he receive the medal. Dash presented the medal to the author and pinned it on his suit. Dash is who? Match the idioms or phrases in column A with the correct meanings in column B. So, idioms and phrases simply means the words not mean literally, they have a different meaning from their literal meaning as well. To fall back on, I explained to you, it means to rely on something, to depend on something. So the first one I've helped you with, do the rest three on your own. To be in full cry, to make a big hole in my pocket, to make a dent in. What do these idioms or phrases mean? Come to the next part. All these you have to do in the book itself. Answer these questions. A. What preparations did the author have to make for the ceremony? How did the author prepare himself for the ceremony? B. Why did his friends encourage him to get a suit? It's right there in the story in plain words. Find it out and write it in the textbook. What happened on the day of the ceremony in Bombay? Was it a grand ceremony? Give reasons to support your answer. Okay, yes, it was a grand ceremony and you have to give reasons to support that answer. Means you have to explain why do you think it was a grand ceremony or which parts of the story tell you that it was a grand ceremony. E. What was the author worried about at the time of the ceremony? So, you remember I just now explained while the governor was trying to pin the gold medal on his pocket, the author was worried about something else. What was it and why? The author thought his grandmother was wealthy. What does he say to prove this? Quite easy. In all the last paragraphs, we come to learn that the author believed that his grandmother was very wealthy. Wealthy means rich, somebody who has a lot of property, money. So he believes his grandmother was rich. Which line exactly in the story means that or explains that thinking of the coming to think and appreciate part? Do you think the author was impressed by the greatness of the occasion? When you read the story, you understand that the author uses humor and he uses a lot of words to show that the ceremony was a grand one. And do you think he was impressed by the greatness of the occasion? If yes, you have to find me reasons from the story. Why do you believe that? Yes, he was impressed by the greatness of the occasion. The author wanted to sell the medal and pocket the money. Do you think it was a good idea? What would you do in such a situation? This is a subjective question. So he received a gold medal for his good score in matriculation. He was a merit scholar. He received a gold medal and his immediate thought was to sell it and get the money. According to you, as per a student of standard 8, what do you think? Was it a good idea? If yes, why? If no, why? Every time you give a reasoning question, you have to support it with the reason, subjective answer. And what would you do in such a situation? Now you have to keep yourself in that situation. You have won a gold medal. So what would you do? Would you keep the medal? Would you sell it? You have to write. Here we come to the end of the lesson. We have discussed the textual exercises. All these exercises, please do it in your textbook itself. And the glossary part where the meanings are explained, learn that part to enhance your vocabulary. So that's all for this session, children. Read the chapter, learn the glossary and do the textual exercises. See you in the next video lesson. Thank you and take care.